Waiting for D to come in. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No, no worries. I'm actually getting a COVID test. That's why I was a little hesitant. But
Let's go in the storyline. Come on.
yeah. So I think it'd be dope because I mean the memory that we have of Frozone, at least for my generation, I think is that iconic scene with him and his wife when they were preparing for the date.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to see a continuation of that scene post him doing what he had to do at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I'd like to see some involvement of continuing that family thing, like everybody's involved in this.
Yeah.
Um, but like how in the last film they thought Jack may not have powers, but he had powers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his wife is also involved in the superhero realm, but she doesn't necessarily have to have powers. So I think
Right.
it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool if she was sort of exploring that in that sense. I don't know what kind of full story theme though I could think of, to be honest. Um,
So, like, as a black man yourself, what things do you think we should be seeing in movies? Not and personally for me, not related to like trauma. I mean, not like the police and slavery. It could be
hmm I got
normal trauma, but like, what
you. Yeah,
about what do you think would be on the screen?
nothing too deep. I get that. I think so. Like Shaft explored the relationship between three male generations. Um, I think Frozone could maybe explore the generation between an older male had like father-daughter relation, father-to-granddaughter relation. I think that would be
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what would I like to see? I'd have to agree. I don't necessarily think we have to tap deeply into racial situations when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to a movie like this. We don't gotta make it a civil rights, film again, part two, even if it is taking place during a time where that stuff was going on heavily and rampant. But yeah, I think father-daughter relationship would be pretty cool to sort of
Yeah.
tap into and explore.
And while
Um,
we're talking, y'all can put your ideas in the comments, storyline ideas for the Frozone movie while we're talking, so we can get some discussion going.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what is something? Because I did this on Clubhouse, and it was just three people, but it was lit. We was like, oh, what if this happened? What if this happened? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what some stuff we talked about, like the idea. I mean, because it's a dated piece, so it have to be like accurate.
Yeah.
Um, because even though you don't aren't introduced to kids in The Incredibles, they could be like older and just out of the house. And so when you mention like
Yep.
granddaughter thing, um, possibly like either a mentee or something showing a new way to do superhero stuff and like
Yeah.
him fighting back against it.
Yeah. I would definitely hate for him to become sidelined again. So I'd love to have him have his moment to shine because he was playing a sideline character for both the first and the second one. So I'd like to see, I guess, a transition of him having his shine moment as Frozone and then becoming mentor. I think would be cool as well. But to have him just initially become just the sideline again would kind of make me a little sad. But,
Yeah, so would you be open to a origin story, or do you want?
oh,
Cause
definitely, absolutely,
yeah,
yeah. So in
Mark,
that
I think
case,
somebody said it's the
go ahead.
'60s time period.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was around that time. Call it 50s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah,
Definitely before the 70s.
yeah. So,
So if it was an origin story, then I'd love to see a relationship between him then and his mother.
oh, yeah, because we saw the mother son dynamic in so or his
Yeah,
father,
that would be
like
cool too. That'd be cool too.
um because the older, because my mom's father was born in like 1914, and I never got to meet him, but I heard he was just like a very silent person. He
Yeah.
didn't talk much, so maybe exploring that dynamic where how they show love
hmm
differently or something,
Yeah.
or like,
Yeah.
he thought his father didn't really care about him his whole life, but then there's this like twinkling of a thing that happens where he's like, okay.
Yeah. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Definitely. Yeah.
Cool.
We got producer friends. We need to make this happen. This need to be real.
I'm saying like I started the other live. Hopefully this one don't cut off, but like they can steal all of this because it's their IP. So if this means that we're gonna get a third Frozone movie, steal all of this, please.
Yes,
Steal it
please.
all.
Feel it all. Take it. Just remember the last name of the day, so when you put the credits up, you feel me? Just write it in little tiny buttons, you feel me?
You gotta get writer credit. So somebody,
That's
okay,
it.
people said they would love an origin story. It will be interesting to see a parallel between him and the conflict of black police officers. Him and his wife, the wife's mother was his hero mentor. That's interesting. So like, if the mentor and then he see her at the house all the time, and then they end up, oh, that's good, Mark. That's when the cops show up, and he did was hilarious. Maybe how he met Honey and how he met other superheroes, Elastigirl, Mr. Incredible, a family reunion of the supers. Yeah, so this like how he met his wife. I like that
I dig
storyline.
that. I dig that. I dig that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
dig
if
that
his
too.
wife was his mentor, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So you can come back for some other questions, but I see somebody else requested to go live. So
Nice. Nice. All right, y'all.
okay. How do I? Okay. So who else requested to go live? Let's go. Mark, coming to the stage. Ooh, Mr. Incredible can be his wing.
Hey, what's up?
What up, though? So, what are your storyline ideas?
Well, mine was the one with the mentor. Like, I really love the idea of, like, especially in that era, like showcasing black love and mentorship. Like, if it's in the '60s, he's trying to figure out like this little kid who found out about his power, but he's a black kid in the hood. You probably have seen at this point all these white heroes. So those young white future heroes can look up. Oh, I'm gonna go find him and help him to train me. Where is a young black kid with superpowers at the time going to go and find somebody? It's probably going to be something underground. I'm like, well, during that time, most of the stuff was actually ran underground by a lot of the women. So you have that same power dynamic. So he ends up finding this like hero dojo, but he's like mentoring under
What
this.
if there's a Black Panther like of heroes, like the Black Panthers, and then there's like underground, like, oh, let's get you into this system.
Yeah,
that'll be lit.
Yeah, it was HBCU for
HBCU for supers.
Yeah.
Oh, we could go the X-Men route and go have an HBCU.
Because like especially within that, because like you have to think, where are they going to be at? Like you said, in the '60s, but where?
Yeah. Right. So that could be in Chicago. That could be in Detroit. That could be in New York. Or we could go to the South.
Bring them to New Orleans.
Yes!
Bring them to New Orleans, and then everybody, all the black kids are scared about hiding their powers back then because, people think, oh, they can do some shit. That's some voodoo. And the whole time, they just got superpowers, but they think, oh, everyone got magic. Like, nah, it's just powers. Y'all just being extra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could be like Southern or Xavier started off as a superhero HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
Or Dillard. Yes.
Oh, so and one of my mentees, or my apprentice actually, Henry, reached out to you. I'm the founder for Decaf Publications.
We gotta chat it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've been seeing you work, and he was like, "Williams, nah, you need to meet her, talk to her. She up here doing exactly what we need in the community." I was like, "Okay, how can we be of service to her?"
Yes, we're trying to get this. We're trying to get the Black animation ecosystem. We're trying to help these people out so they can write good storylines. So do you have any more ideas for like storyline ideas?
Yes, you have the mentorship road. Like I really, really like. I am a hopeful romantic. So I love the idea of you doing it, doing like this love story where he goes, looks for mentorship, goes, and he ends up falling for Sensei's daughter, but he ain't nowhere close to Cole enough because
her mom could be like one of the professors. her mom could be a
Yeah, then
professor
like
at
his like the wife is super. You never know.
HBCU.
She's like, I'm your wife. I'm the greatest good you ever gonna get. We never know. Maybe they
Mhm.
teamed up for a bit. Maybe they had a whole ass like superhero family. Huh?
Yes.
They'll
Okay.
say,
Let's see. Some people are saying, I want more than jazz as a backdrop for sound. That's the only reason I would say, Nola. Nora's listen to more than jazz. HBCU love, origin love story. I love to see it. So like combination of origin story, mentor being a black woman. She's a professor at the superhero, the black superhero HBCU, and her daughter is his wife. Who now? This is lit. So I think that's good for storyline. So before because I'm gonna go to the next question, and then I'm gonna bring more people to answer this question. So how can we expand the character of his wife? We know we don't see his wife. So what are your thoughts on how we can expand that character?
I would say that statement in the movie where she says, "I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you ever gonna get." I feel like that needs its own background story. Like this one time where, like, I guess they had to save the world, and she was a big reason why it got accomplished. And he was like, "It's for the greater good." And after that, like, they end up getting married or something, and she has that over his head the whole time. Greater good. I'm the greatest good you ever go get, and then just have a there should just be pictures all over the house of her having to come and save him. Because she's trying to do her own stuff. Maybe she's trying to be a professor. She's like, I don't want to do superhero stuff. I want my money. I want to help train people. But she keep having to stop what she's doing to go save him because ice don't always cut
it. Ice ain't always cold. Oh wow. Okay, so let's bring some more people up here to expand the wife character. Thank you, and you can come back later for some future questions.
All right, and then we're gonna be in touch as well. Henry, I'm gonna go.
All right.
Bye.
So does anybody want to come up? Let's see. So it's about truth says engineer. Let's put some ideas in the comments for this question that we're going over now is how can we expand the wife character, because we haven't seen her on screen. So let's go to fleshing out the wife character. She's kind of like Technique from the older Milestone series. Does anybody want to go live to talk about how to flesh out the wife character? Let's go. Or you could type in the comments and I'll just read the comments. So let's see. She could be an engineer, because somebody suggested earlier that she could not necessarily be a super, but kind of be related to it. So that's where her mom comes in. Let's see. So definitely, if they met at an HBCU, she's gonna be like engineer, doctor, lawyer. Honey should be more introduced with Mr. Incredible's like a lunch date. She makes super tech, ooh, but not tech outfits. So IT. Okay, let's go live with Henry. From bougie family status, I mean, yeah. The wife can be super protective because her father was a super who died in action many years.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, I was thinking she can be like a super kind of like mechanical engineer. Like
nice.
She makes all the tech gear for all the other supers, and that's how they live in that nice condo downtown. But like he's the major breadwinner of the family anyway, so that fleshes out her character even more because she's a strong black woman. Kind of like Hardware and Technique from like the Milestone comics, where like they don't have superpowers per se, but their superpower comes from their intelligence. So like she can be one of the smartest women on the planet, and nobody would just.
Nice.
So I think that.
So how do you think the dynamics can work in the movie between him and his wife?
Him and his wife, it could just be a lot of like playful banter. She's like a lot of wisecracks. I think that'd be funny because she's the smarter of the two. So she always has a comeback, and she's the main person you go to for solutions to the problem. He's the action guy, but she's the idea person.
Nice. Melon the Animator said, "What if she's not supposed to have superpowers, though?" That's something suggested earlier that somebody was like that she's not necessarily a super, but she's tangentially related. So that's how we got to her mom being Frozone's mentor, and then they met because her mom is a mentor. So I don't want the strong black woman trope on her. True. So people can keep talking about that in the comments, like expanding the wife's character. But since we have Henry on here, let's see, what's my next question? What are some themes we want to stay away from? Like, that might be done too much, or we're just like, please don't make this movie about that. Please.
Well, the time period it's in, you automatically stay away from hip hop, so you don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
But since you're in the HBCU, you kind of just want to go all into that, but you do not want to do like the marching band thing. I think that's overdone. Like being from New Orleans, every Mardi Gras is just marching bands, and I'm sick of it. So I don't want to see anything about bands in the movie. But I do want to see an HBCU with a very, very, very large, science department. I think that would be cool. So we'll have to model it after HBCU with a large science department.
Somebody, it's about Truth says, stay away from struggle love. Yes.
Yes.
If we have it at an HBCU, I don't think it's gonna be about struggle. That's good. Secondhand hero, even though he's a main character still. No BET classics. It's about Truth that keep the band.
I also want her to teach him about his powers. That'd be cool.
Ooh.
That'd be cool. Teach him about like the true mastery of like cold, like what it means to have his power set. That'd be dope.
Yeah. So Mystery loves research. Melon the Animator says, I believe she's a lawyer. So Frozone trying to court her and keep his power secret. Ooh, that's good. Wait, but if we're at a HBCU, well, that's a different storyline because if we're at a HBCU for superpowers, or maybe it's a combo school and you don't know who has superpowers and who doesn't. That's cool. Let's do that. Maybe she helps build him a weapon for his powers and they bond that way.
She builds the first super suit. She builds the first super suit.
What if they're in a class? Okay, so they meet through the mom, and then they're in a class together, and it's a tech class, and that's her major, but he got to take it as like an elective or something. He's struggling, and then they do study group together, and that's how they get close. She said, "Wait, yeah, wait."
That'd be crazy. Mark said HBCU has a secret department for supers, and she's in the super department too, even though she doesn't have powers. That'd be cool.
Okay, so there could be like a regular HBCU. The outcuts. I would have to rewatch the Melon Animated, but it could be a regular HBCU, but they're funneled through. There's this like secret, supers major / department that people get recruited to, maybe.
Kind of like Monsters University, like you taking it back, like OG, like you see everybody when they raw and uncut.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy. Let me see. Irregular Magic Time. He said, "What's that anime?"
All right, so let's bring some more people on here. You can come back later, but we're gonna see if some more people want to go live. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So anybody else want to go live to discuss? There's pictures of her. Let's see. Their professor could be the villain as a plot twist, so it could be another professor. Oh yes, because that's another question that we're gonna go to. through later is the villain. So, let's see who's available. You can hide your camera if you don't want to be on camera.
I look like
Let's
crap.
go. Let's
I
discuss.
look like
You can
crap.
comment.
Why not? Why not?
So, what are all your ideas? The questions we've gone through before, so far is who's on the soundtrack, plot line, expand the character of his wife, what themes we want to stay away from. So, which ones do you want to tackle? Let's go.
All of them.
Let's go. Okay, start with who you want on the soundtrack.
I want it to be some 90s because y'all want it to be HBCU, so let's keep it straight 90s. Let's just go full R&B, Love, Jones, all of that. Marvin Gaye stuff. Let's keep it old black love because they like in their 40s. I don't want to hear nobody new on the track. I don't want to hear no Lil Wayne, none of that. I just want old school R&B. Pull, so that's on the soundtrack. Like Space Jam. You know what I'm saying? Right. Jones or like Goofy movie. Just keeping it, So that's who I would have, like old R&B people. So
it's like Motown and
yes, but let's keep it the theme wise because like with the movie you got to keep a theme going. So
right. Jamie Foxx, yes. All right, so plot line. What are we going for? Plot line.
See, that's the thing though, because it could go either way. Because I'm trying to think of it as how does Frozone and all of them know each other? Did they go to school together? Like because I feel like they're family friends, so the wife knows them as well. So I'm trying to think, how does that all play in? Because it's like everything has to make sense. So even if she's at a HBCU, how does that work out with everyone meeting each other? Because when they did get married, the Incredibles, they knew each other. And I think the wife was at the wedding, but I would have to go back and look. And so that has to play into it. So it could go either way.
So if we have it set in New Orleans, all the schools are pretty close to each other. So like Dillard is in Tulane, so there could be some way, something where they met in the school system, even if they didn't necessarily go, because white people do go to HBCU sometimes, but because
I don't see Frozone playing sports and all that. I don't get that vibe from him. He probably was like into
it would be cool if he was in a Divine Nine fraternity, low-key, if he was like a Kappa or something.
Yeah, stuff like that. I don't see him like going to like, maybe parties and stuff, but it depends. It really depends on what the storyline would be because it could go either way. It really depends.
So, as a Black woman, how would you want to expand the character of his wife?
I honestly don't want her to be a super because it's going to play into the strong Black woman trope either way. So I just want her to uplift this man, not all the way be in the background, but just uplift him. You know what I'm saying? So I want her to just be a regular Black woman and still impact this man's life without there being just overly glorified stereotypes because just from what I saw, they didn't want to put too much on her character because it seemed like it would take away from the scene with all of that. But she's literally just a thick, average Black woman with a cute pixie cut, and that's it. So that's what I would do. I don't want her to be just, this superhero and she saves the day. Like, I still want Black women to be, just another girl. I don't want her to be saving everybody and counseling everybody, and I don't want that. I just want her to just, be her own person. So
what do you think about the storyline where if it's an origin story and they have class and she's like he's struggling, so they do the little study thing and he helps her study. Like she's the smart one in the class, and so she helps him study.
I'm cool with that. It still has to play in because to me, she doesn't play at all, but like at the same time, she loves her husband. So I feel like it would have to be something like an old Black 90s movie where it's like, I'm trying to get with her, but she don't have time for me. So I'm trying to figure that out along with being a superhero.
Oh, she's very studious and she ignoring him at first.
She don't got time. And then when they finally get together, she's like, you did all of that for what? And now you don't want, like, what? So Yeah, that would be like a cute. I'm trying to get with her, but I'm still trying to be with the boys and save the world. But I still want to get with her and start a family. I want my parents to be proud, So
Nice, nice, nice. So what are some things we want to stay away from?
Stereotypes. I just want this to be just a regular movie. Like that's it.
Right.
It don't have to be all of that. Of course, I feel like we're gonna have to have some guest cast. You know what I'm saying? Like some black celebrities. Mary J. Blige. I want all of them in there. I want a dark skinned woman to play her. Just keeping it all of that because I feel like I don't know if they have kids or not. That's something that people want to see. It's just a fan conversation, but I really would like it to be like an old 90s type of love because they're in their 40s, 50s, so that's the type of love that they have. So
It'll be lit from my perspective. Like, even if it's just a scene, like, okay, so I can see her as a Delta, him as like a Q or Kappa, and like highlighting our culture, like at HBCUs, like having a either party where they're like strolling or like a step show. That would be lit to highlight that in animation.
I mean, that'd be cool, but again, I just don't want to capitalize too much off of black culture because I don't want them to just be like, oh, it's another black movie. Like, I want it to be something like Toy Story. Like, oh, okay, there's black characters, but they still got their own problems, like with the sprinkle of culture in. Because I'm noticing that,
right?
With Soul and all that, I'm just noticing how they sprinkle in black culture, and then that's it. There's no story to it. It's just black culture. So I'm trying to like get
there could still be story to it though, but like what's the point of having black character if you don't put the black culture part in there?
I mean, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, if that's all there is and there's nothing to capitalize off of that, then it's just like, then what? Because
it's not like the highlight of the film, but it's like the background of what, because you need that, because I feel like that's what they did in Into the Spider-Verse.
Like Craig of the Creek. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you watch Craig of the Creek, but they have the sprinkle of culture in, but they still have their own personalities. It's not like the Proud Family where it's like black folk. That's it. We're gonna dance. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. But like Craig of the Creek,
but like in Into the Spider-Verse, they had the little sprinkle, like how they started the movie with him singing and he don't know all the words, and then he's walking down the street to the school. He's like code switching and dapping up different people in different ways and stuff like that. I feel like it could be done in that way where it doesn't have to be like the end all be all, but it's still like, okay, this is for this person, this is for this person, this is for this person.
Because I want it to be like, yes, our culture is important, but at the same time, we got to learn how to just spread it out. It don't need to be just one scene and that's it. Spread it out.
Right.
Oh, first here we go, and then we got that. Like, no, just spread it out. Like, everything doesn't have to just be this scene as a party, and then we just have everything else is just the story. We can literally just spread that out throughout the story. So,
all right, I'll back and read a bunch of these comments. Let's see, because I've been ignoring the comments for like a long time. All right, powers are sort of a background thing. Anika Nani Rose, it's just college and superpowers are a thing. Gabrielle Union, Most Def. Running for Miss HBCU, there's a rival. Have them integrate their powers into strolls. That is so hilarious. That is so funny. Okay, we gotta talk later because I literally see a whole storyline world building. The problem with black characters in movies is there always some sort of transformation that changes them. Princess and a Frog. So yeah, that's a theme we want to stay away from. Don't change them into something else. Keep the black on black characters. Okay, so before we bring somebody else on, we can go to the next question. What kind of villain, like, what is the conflict going to be in this movie?
Let's stay away from anything that is racial. Let's stay away from that and just give them an actual villain. It has to be something that is a plot twist, even though that's cliche. I would have it.
So people in the comments also answer about the villain too. So while we're talking,
I think I want it to be something that plays into the story, because we can sit here all day and talk about a villain, but because let's also be, I don't want the movie to be like, oh, that's obvious, because if it is the professor, it's obvious. Like the way they did it in Incredibles, the kid, we didn't ever think it was going to be the kid that was the actual villain, you know? So we always got to look at something that is not playing into racial stereotypes and also delivers a message, because that's the thing a lot of white people can't do, is deliver a message without creating negative stereotypes or just, you know, going off of a pandering and all of that. So whatever the villain is, it would have to play into that. And I don't want it to be a black or white thing either, just an actual story, like from start
So
to
something that popped into my head, I don't know if this is too crazy, but what what if it's like the janitor, like they always be littering and missing the trash can, and he just trying to get back at them, and then that's like the plot twist, like y'all, he just didn't like y'all littering.
I don't know. Like I said, it really depends, because it could go either way. It has to stem from something as a purpose into the solution. So coming in, it has to be, you know, I think there would have to be a saving scene, because I do want the black woman to be seen as fragile. We got to stop that narrative as being strong. So of course he has to save her. And that's going to play into that romance scene. Oh, you saved me now? You know, something cute like that. So it would have to play into that. So
you trying to save me and stuff?
Yeah, I see you saving me. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, but of course, she fighting the whole time. She not like worried.
Right.
She's like, can you put me down? Like, what we doing? So, yeah, so that's what I would like. Can we, you know? So I would love to see her not as a super, but to be as a black woman that still has that womanly, I need to be saved, you know? Because she can brush him off all she wants, but she's like, he cute.
He cute.
He
somebody said,
you
like,
know,
his best friend, I'm reading the comments, like, his best friend went out and tried to make change. Professor says she's mentoring the heroes, but running a secret experiment on the supers at the school, and had powers and used them negatively. Petty villains.
I mean,
petty little bit.
I think it should be something where they both start out where it's like they don't like each other, you know? I don't want it to be too cliche, and then they got to work together, but they still got to, like, she's still like, look, I'm going to help you study for this test, but that's it. There's nothing else. I want nothing to do with you. I'm just helping you study for this test. And so they become friends along the way. Because I don't want us to just jump in and they, you know, in love with them and all that. I want it to progress, you know?
Yeah, somebody suggested, like, she just studious, ain't got time for it, and he keep
she don't.
trying, like, nah, like, I got to study, I'm trying to be this.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for
eventually, you know, she likes him. They always have that moment in the Disney movie where they're like, I like him. He's weird as hell, but I like him. So, because I feel like they both discover, like, the villain at the same time. And they're like, okay, we got to go tell everybody. And this is when, like, everybody's super young. You know, Mr. Incredible, everybody's young. And so all the supers are like, you know, their powers are taken away. And it's really up to Frozone and his girl, Miss Honey, to save him. But, like, you know, because I feel like she went to school to be a lawyer because she's good at arguing.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if this works into any storyline that we already brought up, but her, like, coming up in the, like, Cadillac and, like, I got you, let's go, get away, like, and she whipping up.
Yeah, because I don't know. I just feel like because of how she is, she's a lawyer. She's just so strong in who she is, and just like, I'm not doing that. So, yeah. And they have to have, like, a date scene. Because I don't know if you remember Extremely Goofy movie.
Somebody said Honey on Ice. That was the name of the movie. Honey on Ice.
Because it's like, have you seen Extremely Goofy movie?
No, I haven't. Go ahead.
Never? Wow. So there's a scene where I'm gonna have you gotta watch that. You gotta have to watch that. That's a black movie. Okay. A Goofy movie and Extremely Goofy, all black.
Yes, I agree.
Extremely Goofy movie had all black singers. The whole soundtrack was black. Donna McKirkin was on there. So there was a scene where Sylvia and Goofy leave the dance party after they did the Soul Train line, and they had move rings on, and there was just like this, you know, the glow of the move ring. So I feel like you know, he asked her like, "Hey, can we go outside for a minute?" And she's like, "Nigga, it's cold outside. Why you?" And he's like, "Cold? That's And so they go outside. And they can have like a little cute skating scene since he can make shit frozen. That would be so cute. And they like ice skates. Oh yes, that is so. That is perfect. Oh and she's like, "I can't ice skate though." He's like, "I got you." Oh, that's it.
And then he do a little. And he like make their ice skate path.
Yes, that's yes. And we gotta get a cute little like, what's a good R&B song for that though? Like a good like something like.
There has to be like an old school R&B song that already got like.
We could actually
like an Isley Brothers song or something. It has to already exist.
Actually, it would have to be. What about like, what is it? Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like a good Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Be My Girl by The Temptations.
Let It Snow, but it's got to be like Earth, Wind, and Fire would make sense because he's an element. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that would play into that because this has to be the whole setting has to be in the fall, going into Christmas to play into this.
Ooh,
see what I'm saying?
Donnie, this Christmas.
Like it has to be like played.
Donnie Hathaway.
Because I want to see that. So like everybody's out there doing their thing and they're just ice skating, and then while they're ice skating, it cuts away. Because like while they're ice skating, it cuts away to the villain. I feel like it should be a homie. I feel like it should be one of Frozone's homies. He's mad at him because he want old girl.
Oh,
let's do that.
Jaren says maybe she's the attorney that helps all the supers when they get caught, but only the Incredible family knows she and Frozone are married.
So, okay, I got it. I got the plot. So let's say it's him and his boy who grew up together and they're close friends, and they both have a crush on Miss Honey, right? And so he's the villain the whole time, just out of jealousy, spite because of his powers, all of that. And so he finally
That's not like you seen the catfish. You call me a fat Kelly Price.
And so it's just like the whole time he's just like he finally gets the girl that he wants to be with, and then of course Frozone gets her. And so this whole time they buddy, and so either he is the villain or he helps the villain out.
Henry said we might just have to have him go to Howard. Because that's why it will snow. Yeah, because it don't snow in New Orleans.
Y'all can put it in New York?
Huh?
Y'all can't put like the school in New York or somewhere, like Chicago. I feel like Frozone is from Chicago. Nothing about that man is from New York. So,
but I mean, Howard is DC, so that's possible. And they kind of bougie. So let me you can come back, but let me I know Curtis wanted to talk about plotline, so let's bring him on. Is he still here? So the X isn't there anymore for you, so you're gonna have to
I'll hit it.
Okay. This is my first time. All right, so other people are saying we had the same idea. What if the whole movie Frozone trying to Mac and every attempt ends in Frozone pissing Honey off? Sabotage, no HPCU. What? No HPCU. Oh no. Also, the lack of snow makes his powers stand out. Oh yeah, because if he's in New Orleans, okay. Let me see. Let me bring Curtis. If he's in New Orleans, then it's like a unique date for them to like be ice skating and him doing thing. All right, Curtis, what you got?
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome.
Yeah, this is dope. Dope conversation you're having here. So, yeah, I think like I was saying the idea of the father being the villain, and make it seem like the father, he's a super and he's like working really hard but he's always having like these mishaps and shortcomings and whatnot, and he gets frustrated over time. He's trying to like provide for his family and stuff like that. And then eventually something happens where he either dies or so-called disappears, right? And then, his daughter grows up, goes to school and whatnot. and
So you're saying
somehow the
Honey's
other,
dad?
huh?
You're saying Honey's dad is the villain?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, because he's just frustrated with life. Because I'm just thinking about like the idea of the villain. Do we want a villain that's like he's like completely bad? There's no room for that person to be reformed, or it's a person who just had like unfortunate circumstances, and then in the end, is
Mm-hmm.
right, and then they become a superhero. So I think you gotta look at like how do you want the villain to play out? Do you want them to like completely like be bad and like they keep coming back for sequels, or is it like, oh, it's just it's like a unfortunate circumstance that they are the villain, and then in the end they get reformed. So that's why I think the dad idea is kind of cool, because it shows like some realities of like providing for your family, and then like how there's like a bad side to that, whereas like you get so frustrated, you like screw the world, I'm just gonna do like my own thing. Um, so that's what I was thinking.
Somebody said, can't the parents be pure and alive? Not the dead. Awkward Christmas. Disney kills off parents. Nope. Superhero parents are always fucked up. All right. So since you're here, let's go through some of the questions that were asked before. So the first question was soundtrack. So who do you think should be on the soundtrack?
I like the '90s feel. I like what the previous person said, like the '90s feel, and just kind of like the smooth R&B kind of feel. Because I think right now, just like collective conscious wise, we need like some feel good music.
Yeah.
And then like do some hype music. So bring in like some DMX, or say some Rough Riders or something like that. Something where it's like as he's like the action scenes are like really hyped up, like hip hop
Yeah,
music
we
or
were
something
looking
like
for
that.
soundtrack earlier. I was like, what, like, the superhero, like, background music, who would be good for that? So,
Mm.
like, you can just remix it, which I already want from a Frozone.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah,
So,
like some Rough Riders, like Junior Mafia. Yeah, I'm going way back. Yeah, this is like like Puff Daddy when he
NWA.
was called Puff. Right. Puff Daddy. Right. Yeah. Wu Tang. Yo, like go like in. Like it's like yo,
Bro,
like what's all this like
I'm trying to
classic
remix
'90s
these
hip hop stuff.
songs. Like, what it could, instead of N words with attitude, what could it be? um, so what themes do we want to stay away from?
Yeah, I think the racial stuff, and then like stereotypical um like black folks, they're like poverty stricken kind of like I think what Black Panther really did so
That's why
well,
I
for
like it being
example,
at
was
HBCU, because typically you're like a little higher status at
yeah.
HBCU.
So I think like I think themes to like add on to or build on is like black intelligence, black
Mm-hmm.
the same things that are like opposite to
Yeah.
we see all the time. So I think that would be really cool. And
Oh,
also
my
putting,
bad.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, like really putting us in positions of even like like the whole tech thing. So like seeing us in different industries that we don't normally see ourselves in. So it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like tech and advertising and stuff like that, and
Right.
maybe you could kind of highlight that through their friends, right? Because I think that's something that we
Yeah.
haven't talked about yet. It's like, who are their friends? And it could be a mixture of, supers and regular people. And
Yes.
they're in different, you know what I'm saying? Like they're in different industries and different positions.
Yeah, I think something, because we've gone on a journey for this HBCU thing, so it'd be cool to have like both regular people and supers, and then the super department is just like it's a department on the campus.
Yep.
So that'd be a good mix. I want Mary J. Blige as honey. Visual art.
Yeah.
Ooh, visual art. That's big too. Ooh, yes. Have some artist friends.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
All
but I
right.
think like, but I think going back to the villain thing, that's like they got to figure out is it somebody who's completely bad or if it's someone who's like, oh man, like you kind of have like you want the audience to kind of feel sympathetic for the villain a little bit, and then in the
Mm-hmm.
end, the villain like gets reformed. So I think there's like multiple ways to play it.
Yeah. Also, if you're thinking about like the 60s, a villain could be, you know, somebody who tells, you know, how like Fred Hampton died, like snitches, like they're like infiltrating,
Mm.
like, oh, y'all, like these black people think they're doing a good thing, but you shouldn't be doing that. So that's the villain, like maybe a Uncle Tom of sorts. Ooh, Frozone is an artist and makes ice sculptures. That's lit. Okay, so somebody in the comments said that Frozone is an artist and makes ice sculptures. All right, so everyone wonders how he's such a good sculptor. Oh, he could be if the super's department is secret, then he could be taking regular art classes and his sculptures could be dope, but they like, how does he do this? And he just be like, in the secrets, like making his sculptures. Fell in love with one of the it's okay. The villain could be an arms dealer that mentored Syndrome. Okay. And somebody, so is this a musical? Like BlkWmnAnimator asked that earlier. Is this a musical movie or is just a movie that has music? The scene needs to be like how Miles and his uncle did street art. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Who wants to come on to talk about, and anybody who came on earlier can come back, but we need to flesh out like we need to flesh out more about the friendships and family life. So since it's an origin story, I don't think they'll have kids, but like parents, in-laws, we kind of talked about that already, but we can flesh out the friendship. So like what kind of friends do they have? What's their friend group? And maybe how does that connect to Mr. and Mrs. Incredible? Like how also background somebody not necessarily a musical movie. So let's think about the friend group. Okay, it's about Truth is coming back. And like if they're out of HBCU, how do they meet Mr. and Mrs. Incredible? Let's go. What's your thoughts?
Okay, so let's see. I feel like we should stay away from music as like something to depend on because we have to heavily focus on the music. Like Black people aren't just, musicians.
Right.
So that's why I kind of like brought up the wife being like into STEM. I also mentioned that maybe they're both in the research. So that way, I mean, yeah, he has a hobby, like he's into art, but he's more than that. He's going to school to study other things. And he's just
so he could be more duplicitous because I know one of my exes is a financial advisor, but he plays like bass guitar and saxophone, so he could be multidimensional.
Yeah, to give him more depth. Let's see what else. Regarding the strong Black woman trope, and whatnot. I mentioned like, she's the Miss, whatever school it is.
Miss HBCU. Yeah. Miss Dillard or whatever.
Yeah. And so basically why not explore, her being more on the kind of like the dainty side, of course, her coming from higher status and her mom really not wanting her to be involved in other things that are considered beneath them. So something like that.
I like thinking of her as, you know, like Felicia Rashad's character in the Cosby Show, where she's strong but she's like feminine still.
Yeah. So that's where the like feminine side comes out, where she actually runs to be, you know, Miss HBCU or whatever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so competing with that, so maybe she'll have some competition with another girl. And maybe like the villain, I like the like best friend like type thing where his best friend is kind of like the villain, and they're both like falling for the same girl.
Yeah.
So, would this be in their like freshman year or somewhere towards the end of, you know, their college years?
I feel like that's open ended. Melanin Animated says her mom could be like, leave them supers alone, they're no good. That's a possibility.
Yeah. And so I was thinking, you know, what if the best friend ended up joining an organization and Frozone decides to join like a couple of years later. And so he doesn't know that his best friend is a villain doing some things behind the scenes. And so when this girl comes up and he's trying to join and whatnot, it's just a bunch of mess, you know, with, you know, the guy being, you know, part of that organization, popular and whatnot. And, you know, her mom possibly pushing her to be with that guy because she likes him.
Ooh, so her mom could be pushing her to be with the villain for respectability, but she and not necessarily that she wants to be with Frozone, but she just don't want to be with the villain. But for Frozone is interested in her, and she just want to concentrate on her studies.
Yeah, and they know each other through studies.
So let's flesh out these friendships. So, like, what could both of their friend groups be like? The Melanin Animator said, "Don't let me write an actual script for this." All right. So, who are their friends?
Yeah. So basically, his best friend may have, you know, came from a pretty decent background and whatnot, and I guess their parents were in the same circles and whatnot. I guess Frozone, he kind of comes from a bit of a poor background, but not to the point where he's like, you know, I don't know, like struggling. But you know, they can, like, if the wife's mom were to see him, she would be like, I know where you came from, that kind of thing. So that's, it kind of comes into play. But so that's their little friendship. Now with her, the wife and her mom, they kind of have a cold relationship. In fact, the wife is a little rebellious, which is what drives the mom insane. And so it's kind of like that dynamic of, you know, her mom trying to push her values onto her daughter, but the daughter really not wanting to be like that.
If anybody's seen Sylvie's Love on Amazon Prime, it's like if the main character just decided to go against the mom wanting her to be with this kind of guy. So it's like the opposite of that.
Yep. Yeah. First generation.
Oh, he could be first generation in college. Can Honey be a dancer for the band? That would show her feminine side.
Yep. So, I mean,
okay.
What else could there be?
So, before you go, let's go to the question that Melanin Animated added. Voice actors. Who do you think should be voice actors in this? He's like,
I mean,
I feel like Felicia Rashad got to be in this one too.
Yeah, she definitely does. She would definitely like be a good mom. Cause have you seen Felicia Rashad play a villain? She can play a villain.
Oh, in Empire.
Yeah, she played the evil bougie mom.
And I didn't watch the Tyler Perry movie. Was she a villain in that? I didn't watch the Tyler Perry movie, but
she wasn't so much of a villain. She was just very pushy, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. But
Who
yeah,
else?
she would
Who
be
else voice acting in this?
um who would be Frozone's voice actor? Because Samuel Jackson
I feel like we
is
still
getting
need Sam Jackson for that. Me myself personally, I feel like he could still have the
yeah.
same voice. I don't know. If
Yeah.
anybody thinks different, just put it in the comments.
I feel like Gabrielle Union would be a really good character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Anika Noni Rose.
Cedric
She's
Yarbo.
who's that?
Who'd you say?
Cedric Yorbo. He sounds familiar. Let me think. Oh, Kyla Pratt would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. He's from Reno 911.
Yeah, who would be a good best friend?
No, like
who could also...
it could be the older people that it's just like but Samuel but Samuel L. Jackson
right,
though.
he is older. He is getting older.
Tom from the Boondocks.
I feel like the guy who played Khalil in Black Lightning would be really good, and he's up and coming because he's getting his own show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this would definitely,
So Art of Kevin, would Cedric be the villain voice since he's Tom from Boondocks? Jasmine Guy. Or some other what if Cree Summer play like an AKA or something?
Yeah, or a professor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see that.
Well, submit some younger people, Melanin. Okay, we could do Yara Shahidi.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff.
Who else? Marseille Martin.
Yeah, Sky Jackson.
Sky Jackson. Gary Anthony Williams. Is that the? I feel like
Chloe and Halle.
Chloe and Halle. Who's some young black people?
The girl, Sayla. The girl, who was that movie?
Oh,
Sayla in Space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she'd be good.
It would be cool to have if they have like a foreign friend like from an African country or something, and they have a real African accent, like not a fake African accent.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them. Tiwa Savage. I like her. Tiwa Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. What about the Caribbean? HBCU, you got Haitian. I know.
Oh yeah, and Caribbean people. There's this Instagram account, Nelly So Funny, and she be doing her Caribbean accent. If she could be in the movie, that'd be lit. Like up and coming people. Oh, Quinta B, Zendaya. I just watched the Euphoria movie.
Oh, the special?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said Cree Summer could be an AKA. Like, she don't have to be Freddie.
I don't know how we're gonna fit all this in like an hour and 30 minutes.
Right. We just giving ideas so they can steal them.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Brown.
Yeah, I love her.
I don't know people's name.
I want Regina Hall got to be in there somewhere. Regina Hall.
Yes.
But as an alternative, if Felicia Rashad is available for the wife's mom, Regina King would be really good.
What about the wife's dad? Who the dude from Blackish? Is that Lawrence Fishburne?
Anthony Anderson?
No, I'm talking about the dad.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Fishburne. Or who's another older black? I'm trying to think of like the timbre of their voice. Yeah, I just looked her up. I don't be knowing people's names. Get all the different Roar characters as teachers.
The guy that played Lala, he'd be really cool. And from Black Lightning. If
Okay.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, it's the dad from Lovecraft Country that used to beat on Tip's dad. Yeah.
Okay.
That guy.
Latavius Johnson. Oh, he was on I'm familiar with him from like wasn't he on Black and Sexy TV? Anthony Mack. Chiwetel Ejiofor, yeah. Like they usually do if you need death to happen, go to TikTok. Forrest Whitaker. It'd be easier to find the personality. Tony Todd. Michael K. Williams. Don't forget the dad from Good Times. John Amos. That he has a good voice.
It would be the day if we actually got Dave Chappelle to play somebody's dad in an animated Disney movie.
Michael K. Sterling. All right, thank you. So I'm gonna see if anybody else want to talk about voice actors or what else did we talk about? The other friends. So thank you for coming again.
All right, peace.
All right, anybody else want to talk about fleshing out what friends they have and voice actors? We gotta get a mixture of old and young Black actors and actresses. Yes, we do. Let's see, did I miss anything? Gary Anthony Williams. All right, so I feel like this was a good little thing, and I'm gonna save this video and post it on YouTube so they can steal all of our ideas. Please steal these ideas because we want a really good story. The premise that we outlined is that we're at an HBCU that has regular people and supers, and it's an origin story. We're gonna go over how Honey and Frozone meet, and the villain might be Honey's dad. Lizzo's voice. She could be in the band. So before this, because this cut out, like I don't think I might have the first video, which luckily that it was only not that long, but I want to make sure I can save this video and put it on IGTV and YouTube. So I'm in this now. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for putting out this storyline. I told you I was exciting when I was on Clubhouse. It was exciting with 3 people. I was like, what if we do this? What if we do this? So thank y'all for coming and playing the flute. So thank y'all for coming in and theorizing this movie with me. And anybody who missed it, I'm gonna post it and so that you can watch the whole thing. All right, I'll see y'all.